Okay. So we are now live. So we are now live. So good morning to all our audience who are right now here. So first mag muna tayo, no, mag shout out muna tayo ng konti. Shout out sa mga taga NPCST. NPCST, other schools. Good morning to all our audience who are right now here. So, i-mute ko lang ito ng konti. Yan. Okay. So, shout out po natin yung mga different schools right here. And ito po ang possible mga nag-register na attendees natin from NPCST, of course. Ito ang ating mga followers from to our webinar. And also mga Cavite State, taga Cavite State University, silang campus. Taga UMAC, of course, ang school namin. And marami pong mga nag-register ng different schools. PUP Lopez Branch. Ayan. Mga taga PUP Lopez Branch. Also, may Denso 10 Solutions Philippines po tayo na mga professional audience, no? Mga practitioners na po ang mga to. Also from Cagayan Valley Computer and Information Information Technology, Cagayan Valley. Ayan. Cavite State University, silang campus. Also from Laguna State Polytechnic University, San Pablo City. And then LSPU, SPCC. Yan, SPCC, yan. Turo din po kami dyan sa Laguna State Polytechnic University, San Pablo City. Tapos also, we have from Our Lady of Fatima University, no? Our Lady of Fatima University, Antipolo. Okay, and Rizal Technology or Rizal Technological University. Yan po. Yan, madami ng schools ang natin, followers ng ating webinar. Of course, talagang marami naman pong na-share ang ating speaker, no? At ang eager learning, new learnings and knowledge given to our audience for sure. And shout out po sa mga anak po ng ating speaker na si Sir Andy Isip. Shout out po kay Andre, Daphne, and May Isip. Yan po yung family ni Sir Andy sa Canada. Again, shout out po kay Andre, Daphne, and May Isip. Yan po. Hello po sa inyo sa Canada. Taglamig na po dyan sa Canada, sa kanila, no? Taglamig dito medyo umuulan-ulan. So, malamig na rin, no? Papasko na. Okay. So, we will start our webinar now. And let us proceed with our prayer first. Okay. So, let us all pray first. So let us ask the blessing of our Lord God before we proceed with our webinar. So in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, Amen. Bless us, O Lord, Lord God, today and this webinar as we learn new things from our guest speaker. Bless our speaker to richly share his expertise to us, listeners. For this event, be fruitful to each and every one. Bless also, Lord God, those who are working, suffering from the aftermath of typhoon, that they may all recover and start a new beginning in your presence and guidance. We ask this in Jesus' name, Amen. And in the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, Amen. Ayan po. So, right now, let me check my okay. So, here, medyo okay, medyo hindi yata nakaka-capture yung aking graph. So, we change first. Konting settings lang po. Mag-arrange lang ako ng settings. Yes. Okay, so let us proceed with the introduction, or this one first, our quote for the day. So yan po, let us read. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. Ayan. So, lahat po tayo, keep on learning. Yan nga ang nasabi ni Sir Isip sa atin, tagline natin, keep on learning. Try something new. Kasi baka yung alam natin right now would be obsolete na pala, no? Sa dami ng mga constant change and new learnings na makikita natin sa paligid, ano? Sa education, sa internet. So, try something else. No? Kasi baka kaya tayo hindi nagkakaroon ng mistake. We focus on our obsolete skills. No? Ayan, kaya aral-aral din tayo. So, this one, itong webinar na to, source ng bagong pag-aaral. No? Ayan. Kaya attend tayo ng mga webinar from Eager Learning. Siyempre, hatid yan ang ating Eager Learning at saka ng ating speaker for today, si Sir Andy Isip. Okay, so let us continue with the introduction of our guest speaker. Again, pangatlo na po natin na-invite ang ating guest speaker from Canada at may unfinished business pa po kami, no? Yung part 3 namin. Ito po ang magandang topic, no, sa dulo, itong entity framework. So let me introduce and read again dun sa mga audience natin na hindi pa nakakakilala or hindi naka-attend. New attendees natin ngayon. So our speaker is currently working as a lead software developer at McKesson Canada. He is a hands-on team leader to a group of developers that maintain and develop new features to the company's core applications. He also worked for other reputable companies like Accenture. He was initially based in the Philippines, based in its Philippine Delivery Center, and was transferred to the United States for long-term project assignment. Our speaker started his career as a C++ developer and later transitioned to Microsoft technology stack. Along the way, he became a Microsoft certified solution developer. He also has previous experience in developing mobile applications in the iOS platform. The list of major technologies, programming languages that he used are C#, Angular, SQL, Microsoft and Sybase, WPF, .NET Framework / Core, WCF Services, REST Web Services, Dapper, Entity Framework, Objective-C, Swift, and more. So let us all welcome our speaker again for today, Engineer Alejandro P. Isip, our lead software developer at McKesson Canada. Ayan, so let us give him a round of applause, virtual round of applause. Ayan po. So here, let us show his screen and Sir Andy, you are now live.
Yep, thanks, Sir Erwin. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing great despite of the pandemic that we are experiencing all over the world. So yeah. For those who are new, I'm Alejandro. Sir Erwin is my friend, and we've been doing this podcast about database interaction within database application for the third time now. So for those of you who haven't seen the first couple of videos, feel free to check Sir Erwin's channel, Eager Learning. And if in case you're not familiar, you want to go back and listen to those podcasts. So for today, our topic will be continuing still with the database, with our database interaction with .NET, but at this time we are going to tackle entity framework. We will be focusing on entity framework. Previously, we've discussed the different connectivity that can be used within a .NET application, like ODBC, OLEDB, and other ORM platform like Dapper. Now we'll continue with entity framework. And without further ado, let's just dig into the details. Maybe I'm just going to set up my environment. I'm just going to hide myself for now, and then do some stuff. Okay. All right. Sir Erwin, are you seeing my screen now? Are they seeing my screen? Okay. Thank you. So I'll just do a little bit of a recap, just for the people who haven't joined the previous podcast. So yeah, this is our third, as I mentioned, it's our third time, and hopefully we'll finish this topic, entity framework, and then we're done with the course. Perfect. So yeah, over here on part one of our podcast, we had some introduction to the database, to the .NET tools, and the tools that we will be using. So, but basically, for those who were not there, we will be using Visual Studio, we'll be using .NET, we will be using Microsoft SQL Server. Those are the two technologies that we will be using. And if you are not familiar with them yet, I highly recommend you go to the first video, and then in there we mention that how to get those tools, and whether if you need a license or not, or if they are freely available. So just skip to the parts to those parts of the webinar, and you'll be able to know which tools or specific details about those tools. And then we did the setting up our database. We did set up our database in part one. And over here, these were the ones that I was telling you a while ago. We tackled the different database connectivity like ODBC, OLEDB, ADO.NET, and those are the ones that we discussed, different database connectivity. And also, we in second part, we did the ORM. We continue with ORMs. We're able to finish Dapper, and now for the third time, we will be tackling entity framework. Hopefully, you will learn a lot from this video, and you'll be able to apply all the information that you will receive from this video in your day-to-day work or in your future endeavor. Yeah, if time permits, I'm also going to give you a basic ASP.NET Core sample that is using entity framework. So basically, this is currently the hot technology within the Microsoft Microsoft technology stack, specifically with that web programming. And if still time permits, we'll tackle the different tools as well. Other than Visual Studio, there are other tools that you can use for sure. We'll deal into them. After that, the usual, we'll do question and answer. Okay. Having said that, let's. I think we're ready to get down into the business. All right. So first, I want to recap our database. The database that we've already set up before. We have set up this database DB webinar, and then we set up a couple of tables, the customer table and the product table. So I'm just going to query them a little bit quickly. Okay, so these were the information that we added to the product table, and these are the information that I added to the customer table. Right, so right now, as it stands, we have two tables in our database, and we will continue working on that using our samples. Good. Yeah. And also, if for those who are not yet familiar, we've created this project. So this is the sample for OLEDB, ODBC, ADO.NET, and Dapper that we created. So we will do the same thing with entity framework. Cool. So yeah, just before I go deep into the code, I just want to mention that the entity framework that we will be doing today is called the version is called Entity Framework Core. Be mindful that before Entity Framework Core, there is a previous version of Entity Framework that Microsoft had. So it's a very different framework. It's not based on .NET Core. So what you will about to see in this demo will all be .NET Core, Entity Framework Core, you will not see the previous version of the Entity Framework. Okay, because that's very different, and it uses a different approach. It uses a different method in connecting to the database. It's still based on the EDMX pattern of program pattern, or for lack of a better term, I'll call it framework. So just be mindful of that. If you came across it in the industry, or in the future you come across to it, there are still companies using that old version. So you might be wondering why in the cellular it's very different, and when you go down to the industry, it's different. So it's because they are probably using the old version of Entity Framework. What you are about to see is the latest and greatest way of doing Entity Framework connection to the database. Right? I just want to mention that because I think that's pretty important to keep in mind. Good. All right. So yeah, let's start. So as with the other webinar, the first thing that you need to do in order to be able to use Entity Framework is to add the NuGet package. So the way you do it, right-click either on your solution or the specific project where you want to add the package, right-click on it, and then manage NuGet packages. Pretty standard way of doing things in the Microsoft Word, specifically in Visual Studio. As you can see here, I already installed a few NuGet packages. So you could see OLEDB, ODBC, SQL Client, and Dapper. You don't necessarily need to add this. The reason why they exist here is because we've created example codes in the past for them. So if you're just doing purely Entity Framework, you just need to have the Entity Framework. Looks like over here, if you are opening them, there are some updates. So I'm not going to update right now. I'm just going to continue with the way with the version I have. So yeah, let's add Entity Framework. The NuGet package that you want to download, because we are using SQL Server, is Microsoft Entity Framework Core. As I mentioned a while ago, we'll be using Entity Framework Core, not the previous version of Entity Framework, SQL Server. So once you select it, and over to the right, you will see the install. If you click install, it will install Entity Framework, and all the corresponding dependencies of Entity Framework will be installed into your project. So I'm going to click install. Right now it's installing. Over here you will see, and then this confirmation, I'll just hit OK, standard. And of course I cannot decline, I must accept. All right, so yeah, there you go. There's no error, and it was successfully installed. If you go here, you will be able to see that Entity Framework was installed already. Okay, I'm going to close this and save my project. Now you are ready to create your program using Entity Framework. Great. As you can see here, as I've explained in previous video, Dapper is an ORM, a mini ORM, and then Entity Framework is a full-fledged object-relational model type of framework. Okay, so it will also use this product. We will reuse this product class and customer class that we've developed as part of our example when we did the Dapper connectivity, right? Okay, so we're still going to use this, but now before we proceed, I'm just going to create the context that we will be using for this Entity Framework. So the first step is to download the NuGet package, which we've already done. So first, the necessary libraries, we already done that. The next step in order to be able to create access the database using Entity Framework is to create your context. So we call it context. So I'm just going to create another folder here just for what they call it, for manage organizing things. I'm just going to call it context, or maybe let's name it differently, maybe context. So in this example, we are only creating one context, but in case you will have multiple contexts, you just can organize them into folder. So I'm going to add class in my folder that I just created, add class. And then I will name my class webinar context. Good. So it created now this class for me automatically. I'm just going to make this public. Now the next thing that I need to do is to make sure this context that I created, it inherits from the built-in DB context of Entity Framework. So it's called DB context. So the reason why it's flagging it as an error is because I haven't really imported the right namespace over here. So I'm just going to automatically let Visual Studio correct that for me. If I click on this little light bulb, if you can see here, it's asking me to add Microsoft.Entity Framework Core. I'll just click on that. And if you move over here, you will see now the Entity Framework Core. All right, so now the context that we created is now inheriting from the base DB context that was provided by Entity Framework. So if you go to the definition of this one, so see these are the method signatures for this DB context. So basically what this DB context does, it provides us the functionality that Entity Framework has. So we need it so that we will have access to the different functionality of Entity Framework. Oh. So now we have inherited the DB context. We are now ready to define our classes or our DB objects. So what that means is, like, if you go to our database, over here, this is our database, right? DB webinar. And in our database, we have some customer table, which we just added here. And we have product, which we just queried over here as well. Okay, so product has this data. These were the two objects, table objects we have from the database. So what we basically need to do is to mirror those tables into our context, into our webinar context. So to do that, you will say public DB set, DB set, and then product. Okay, product, and then I'll call it products get set. Okay, so as you can see here, what is this product? So basically this product, if you don't have it yet, you will have to create a class for it. So basically this product class, if you go under models, I already have this product. So this product class is a class that we created from the previous demo. So if you are creating a brand new one, obviously you will have to create this class first. But in our demonstration, since we already have this class, we could just already use this product class into our context. So let's back up a little bit and let me explain what's in this product for those of you, or maybe as a recap as well. So this product class is kind of the representation of this product table in our database. If you query this product table, you can see it as product ID, product name, and price. So, and then in your class over here, this product also has this product ID, product name, and price. And then we will use this class, this product class, into our context to define it. So DB set, product, and products. So if you go up here, since our product is from the model context, model namespace, that's why we have to inherit that here. All right. Sorry, not inherit. I mean, include that namespace over here. All right, so we have products. Let me explain why I name it products. So in entity framework world, we have this convention called pluralization. So basically what that means is like, if you have a table product, and inside this table product, you can have multiple products, right? So for example, milk is a product, banana is a product, and this collection, this whole collection, they are really products, right? Products. So by convention, and I think entity framework has some automatic mechanism as well, we will call this DB set as products, which means it's a collection of product. So it's a list or collection of products. That's why I'm naming it products with an S. That is called pluralization in entity framework. And I think in general, it's also called pluralization, not just with entity framework. Good. So now we have our context. We have our product, but still we don't have information about our database at this point. Yeah, true, we have our class, we have our context defined, but this context has no idea on which database it should connect, right? So we have to tell it to the we have to tell it to this. We have to tell this context that which database it should connect, and to do that, we will have to override. If you guys are familiar with object-oriented programming, we're going to override a method, a virtual method under DB context. So let's right-click on it and go to definition. The method that we want to override is called onConfiguring. All right. So this is the method that we want to override. So this method exists, this virtual method exists in DB context that was provided by entity framework to us. So I went to the definition of DB context and I found this. I'm just going to copy paste it. And this is the one that we'll override. For those of you who are not familiar with overriding, basically what that means is like we are creating a new implementation of this onConfiguring method. So we are creating our own implementation of this onConfiguring. So this onConfiguring is automatically called by entity framework when it initializes the context. So now, at this point, we will be able to hijack that method to tell this context that which database we want it to connect. Okay. So to be able to do that, to complete the overriding. I'm just going to change this to override, and remove this virtual, of course, to complete the overriding. So, okay. Now, the next thing that you will do is option builder. See this parameter? This parameter option builder over here. I'm going to tell SQL Server which use. There's a method called use SQL Server. And then this use SQL Server as a parameter of string, which you could supply the connection string. And same as last time, the connection string that we will specify here contains the information of the SQL Server where we want to connect. So the same as Dapper, we specified that, right? We specified connection string. Same as ADO.NET, we specified connection string, and so on and so forth with ODBC. So this is just telling this context which SQL it want to connect. So right now it's in DB test, but that's not the database where I want it to connect. So I'm going to change that. I copy pasted this from previous database. So okay. So now we have the information now. So we are now now the context is ready to tell that this is now the database that you want to connect. So if our context, I think there's one more step that we want to do, but for now I'm going to skip that to show you how it will to show you the error that we will encounter when we run it, and then how to fix that error. Okay. So let's jump into another class for a moment, and then before we continue our DB configuring our DB context. So now our context is ready. We are now ready to use this this context in our to access the database. So I will just follow the same pattern. I'm just going to minimize those. Same pattern as we did with ADO.NET. Basically, you don't have to do this. I'm just doing it for organization of my code. So I'm going to the same pattern for demonstration, follow the same pattern for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to add another class over here. It's called, I will call it EF data access. EF data access. Pretty much the same with this Dapper ADO.NET that we created, and I'm just going to make it public. And in this class, I'm going to expose void get all products. So, and then in this EF data access, I'm going to, this is where I will use the context to access the records from the database. So basically what I'm going to do is to use the context that we've created. So to do that, we will do using var context equal to new webinar context. All right. So you will see this error here because I haven't imported the right namespace. Okay, perfect. Now everything is happy. This is how I use it. Let's compare it to Dapper. So Dapper, this is how we did it, right? Connection string defined. We instantiate SQL connection, and then we did our thing, our SQL. Now with this, with Entity Framework, you don't have to do those things. All you have to do is instantiate the context. Okay. So pretty easy, right? So now, what I want to do is to display all the products in this record, sorry, all the records in this table. So to do that, if I just step back a little bit, in OLEDB, you have to write your SQL, right? To do that, you will have to do a select statement, select product, like pretty similar to this. You will have to specify the SQL that you want to do. Same as Dapper. If you want to do that, see this, select products. You want to specify this SQL. With Entity Framework, you don't have to do that. It will magically help you query the database without specifying the SQL statement. So here, obviously, to pull the data, I'm going to use this SQL, right? And in the code within Dapper, OLEDB, ADO.NET, you have to specify it. With this one, you don't have to specify the SQL. So what you want to do is like, I'm going to look for all the products in my context. So I'm going to declare a variable called product. Sorry. In context, see this, dot products. Remember this? I thought if you go back to our context over here, we define this, right? We define this context. Now, once we define this context, it represents the collection of products, the records in the product table. So it's collection. That's why over here in our data access, we just refer to that collection. So what that means basically is we're referring to the whole collection of all the records over this. And then for each one of those records, we will iterate through them. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to console.writeLine. Let's see. Let's see the product ID. I'm just going to do product. This product pertains to this variable, dot product ID. And then I'm going to do the product again, dot product name. Then I'm going to display the price over here, product. This is just for displaying, and you could do whatever you want when you are programming, right? This is just for display, showing you that I'm retrieving the products from the database. So basically, this is all you need to do. You don't have to provide any SQL at all, and Entity Framework will take care of that for you. So I'm retrieving all the products, and I'm going to do that. All right. Now let's make use of this data access into our main program. I'm just going to comment out our previous example. As I've said a while ago, I'm just doing this for code organization purposes. You don't have to do this really. If you have, there are other ways of doing it. I mean, so get all products. Okay. So what this means is actually it's calling this method. So now, as I've said, when I run this, we will receive an error because I haven't really configured anything yet, right? So if I run this, I will. I have configured something, but it's not fully configured. I didn't mean I haven't configured anything yet. Good. So yeah, as I've said, I'm running it. and I'm expecting that it will throw an error or an exemption. See that? So what is the error? The error that we are getting is like invalid object name products. So basically what that means is our context cannot recognize this product. So if we go here, it cannot map this product to whatever table in our database. So it cannot. It failed in doing that. In mapping that product to our table. So what we have to do is we have to go to this product class, and over here we will add an attribute. So there are other ways of fixing that error, but I believe the best way is to add a table attribute in this. So we add a table attribute on this class. So basically, we'll import this table attribute. I'm just going to be specific and name it product. So this product matches the name of our table over here. So that way, it tells Entity Framework that this class represents the product table in the database. That's how you do it. So I'm going to be a little bit fancy, but technically you could just hard code it like this. I'm just going to do it in name of product, because really this product matches the name. So I'm just going so that it will be dynamic. So but as I've said, you could just hard code it with product. So I just want to make it more dynamic. That's why I use name of. Oh, so now let's run our project again, our program, and we are expecting that our program will list all this data from our database. We'll pull it from our database, and then it will list them. All right, it's running now. Oh, perfect. So see this? It's able to retrieve the data now. It's able to retrieve the data from our database. See, milk, ODBC, all of this stuff. Okay, I'm just going to end the program and let's analyze the code a little bit. So yeah, as I've said, with Dapper, you have to specify SQL. With ODBC, you have to specify the SQL. Now, what's going on with this program? How did Entity Framework know what to do? How did it interacted to the database? So basically, behind the scenes, in layman's term, I'm not really saying that this is how Entity Framework works behind the scenes, but in layman's term, this webinar, this context is actually using ADO.NET. It's actually creating this SQL that we just created, that we used before when, let's say, for example, this product. It's actually also doing the same thing what ADO.NET is doing, what we did in ADO.NET is doing. But we just don't see that. It was wrapped for us. That functionality was wrapped by Entity Framework for us. It's doing that on behalf of us. So we don't have to worry anymore of writing those select statements, but an Entity Framework does that for us. That's why if you go here, you don't see any SQL, right? We didn't even write any SQL at all, but we're able to retrieve that those information. It's because of Entity Framework did that job for us. Okay, so let me demonstrate that. Let's intentionally make this error. Just just so you will see that it's doing an SQL connection. So let's make the program intentionally error out again, and let us examine the error that it throws. All right, so here, I'm just going to copy this guy. Oh, sorry about that. My window is very big. Okay, I'm just going to copy the details and put it in Notepad, so you know that what it's doing. Okay, so I'm going to edit the font to make them a little bit bigger. Cool. So see this? See this Microsoft SQL client connection? Behind the scenes, our entity framework is also instantiating this SQL connection, just like we did in ADO.NET. See this SQL connection? See that SQL connection? It's also doing the same thing. It's using this SQL connection to connect to the database. And see this SQL reader, SQL command. Those are the stuff that we did in ADO.NET, right? The SQL command, although SQL reader and those kind of things, entity framework wrap it for us. So really, behind the scenes, it's just using ADO.NET, but which more, since these are very common functionality, we don't have to do those anymore. So entity framework will handle that. All we have to do is to worry about our code. Basically, there are pros and cons about that. So we'll discuss them a little bit later in our webinar. Okay. So, but for now, enjoy that. You don't have to worry about doing any other SQL. Okay. So now, all right. So now you may be wondering our what do you call it? Our example, it retrieves all the records. What if I retrieves all the records? What if I just want to retrieve specific records? Or for example, I want to do a search. I want to do a search. Let's say, for example, where product name, like I want to do something similar to this, like B, meaning it has any B in it. Or like banana. I want to do that. Or what if I just want to retrieve a specific product ID, where product ID equal to 2, maybe. What if I just want to do that? So how do you do that? So we can still do that by using link queue, by making use of link queue. If you haven't heard link queue, it's kind of the, on my own words, I'm going to call it kind of SQL version, but in code, for lack of a better term. So search product, I'm going to create a method called search product over here. But our goal here is to, or maybe I name it retrieve products. Retrieve specific products. I'm just going to name it like that. So now there are different ways to retrieve from products. So one, we could do like bar product equal to our context, point products, point first. So I'm going to, the reason why it's showing an error here is because I haven't added the link queue namespace. As I've told you a while ago, to mimic the query that we are doing here, what we will do is to use link queue. So I'm going to add link queue. So what this will do is behind the scenes entity framework will generate an SQL for us that will retrieve the first product. So basically that SQL will pretty much look something like this. I'm not saying it's exactly like this, but it will look like this. Top one. It's very similar to this top one. I can imagine this is what it's doing behind the scenes when we call this. And now we can now write this. I'm just going to copy paste that. It will retrieve the specific product. This is specific product for us. Okay, so now we created this one. Let's call this in our main program. I'm just going to comment this out. PF point products. So what we are expecting our program will do is to display the first record because our SQL or our link queue indicated that we will get the first record. So I'm going to run this and see what it displayed. So it should get the first record. Oh, okay. I forgot to put back this one. Sorry about that. Okay. I'll run it. So now it should retrieve the first record. See this? It retrieved the first record. Perfect. Awesome. Now, yeah. So what if? So this one, it just retrieved the first record. What if I want to select, as I've said, select a specific record? So maybe let's make it select product ID. Let's just run this. Let's make it select number product ID 10. All right. So what we're going to do is this. I'm going to just comment this out, and then let's just change this first statement with point where using the where keyword in link queue, and then we'll do our lambda expression p, where p point product ID. As you can see, p here represents a single product within this collection. So where p point product ID is equal to 10. It's equal to 10. Okay, that's how you code this. So basically what this means is like the where it returns a collection. It also returns a products. So if you see here, it's like a queryable. It's a collection of products. So what we want to do after we do this, we want to do first after we added the where clause. So basically, this will execute as we're telling the entity framework, like in products table, can you get me all the records with a product ID of 10? And then this, once that's selected, it will return a collection also, because our code doesn't know how many records in the database that has a product ID of 10. Well, obviously, since we know what we added, we know that there's only one, right? But really, the code doesn't know that. That's why the where is always returning a collection also, or a queryable product. So now, since we know there's only one, we'll just return first. The first record, what this means is like return the first product with a product ID of 10. And so if we translate that, it's pretty much like this. Select top one where product ID is 10. So if there are multiple product ID of 10, it will return, this query will return multiple, but we know that it will only return one, and because we're doing top one and there's only one record. So that's what this link queue statement is doing. Okay, so let's run it again. So the difference from previous, this one, it doesn't have any condition. This one, we added a condition. Pretty much similar to our where statement over here. Okay, run it. It will retrieve the product ID of 10. Cool, see that? 10 papaya stored pro. Okay, so now what will happen if in our record we don't let's specify a bogus value? Let's say, for example, 15. There's no product ID of 15, right? 15. We know that this query will not return anything. So what do you think will happen? So, and then after we specify this condition, we're doing first. So let's see what will happen. It will error out, right? So it's saying sequence contains no element. What that means is like this condition, this link queue condition did not found any matching records in a database. It has no match. So sequence has no elements, but then we are trying to do first. So what that means is like we are trying, this first method is trying to get the first record from a collection that has no record. So basically that will result into programming exception, into an exception error. So now to safeguard ourselves from that, because we don't really know if this record exists, we could replace this first from, I'm just going to comment it out just for your reference. We could replace this with point first or default. So what this means is like, if there is no record that was found, if this resulted in an empty record, just return the default value, the default for product. So let's put a breakpoint here and let's see what this, what will it return using first and using first default. First or default, we know that this will not return anything, and we will see what will be the value of product. Okay, so let's run it. I added a breakpoint. We should be directed to our breakpoint. Okay, so we are now in this line 30. We know that this line is already executed. And if we hover over our product, see that the product variable is null. So it did not error out because even though there is no result set that was returned by this link queue, still first or default it just returned null, meaning it did not found anything. So that's the difference between first and first or default. It will, if there is no value, it will just return the default for the default value for this class. But again, our program will still error out because we are accessing a null object over here. If we continue the execution, the program will throw a null exception error because this variable is null. See that? Object reference not set to an instance. So that's null exception. So let's also fix that. So let's do something. I put a question mark here. I forgot the name of what you call this programming convention, but I think it's a null operator or something. But basically what it means, if this product is null, if this product variable is null, just continue. Just continue. Do not throw an exception. Okay, so let's run it. So we know that this will return null, and see what it will display on our screen. Great, it didn't display anything, right? Because our product is null, it knows that it's null, so it did not do anything. Cool. So that's not related to database interaction at all. It's just a C# thing that you may probably most likely encounter when you do C# programming. Cool. So that's it. Let's provide another example. Let's this time let's search. Let's ask for user input. So I'm just going to go back to my Dapper class. So I'm going to copy the read line up over here. Where did that console that read line? Oh, okay, I'll just do it myself. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to ask an input from the user, and then based from that input, we will search the product by name. Okay, so I'm going to do console write line, enter product name, and then I'll do console.read line where I'll name search string. So I'm going to get an input from the user, and I'm going to do a search for those. Okay. I'm just going to put that over here there for your reference. So now I have I have now the search string which was entered by the user over here. I'm going to search the products table. I'm going to do another context dot products point where p point product name. Instead of product ID, I want to search the product name. Point contains search string. Okay. Let's analyze this code. So what this means is like I ask the user to enter the product name, and then I captured the user input, and then in my entity framework, I want to use this user input to search for products. So in my Lambda expression, I use the product name contains whatever input from the user. And now, as you can see, this is a plural, right? I name it products instead of product. So because, as I've said a while ago, this one is the where clause is returning a collection. Now we are now ready to iterate to the result, to the search results. Okay. So instead of context, I'm just going to replace this with products. So just take note that this products is not the same as context.product, right? This context.product is all the collection in the database, whereas this products is already the filtered products based on our link queue expression. Okay. So all right, let's run this. Okay, there you go. The program is running. Enter product name. Let's just go back to the database quickly and inspect the value. So this is our product name. So what I'm going to do, I will say banana, like this one. I will just enter banana on the screen. Enter. And upon pressing enter, our code will do is like it will search our database for whatever string I entered by product name. It will search the product by product name. I entered banana and now pressing enter. It should find 2 records. See? It found 2 records. So it pretty much mimic this query. So product where product name like banana. So our link queue over here was translated to an SQL statement that is pretty similar to what we did in this screen. Okay, so that's how entity framework works. So see that banana, and then if we run our code again, let's try something else. Let's see, let's enter something that does not exist. Okay, so this is our record. I'm just going to enter XXX for demonstration purposes. Since I know this string doesn't exist, this product doesn't exist. See, it did not write anything because it did not found anything that matched this query. Okay, so I'm just trying to demonstrate that for you. All right, perfect, good. Cool. I'm sorry. I would like to take a 2-minute break. I'm just going to do my thing. I'm just going to be back in a couple of minutes, and let's continue this. Sir Erwin, I will be back in a couple of minutes. Just do a quick washroom break, and talk to you again after 2 minutes. Sorry, I will pause for a couple of minutes. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry about that. All right, I'm back. Okay, so now what we did so far is like we are retrieving something from the database, right? We are retrieving data. So just like in our previous example, we're going to. Oh, by the way, Sir Erwin, are you hearing me? I don't know if I. Okay, perfect. So as I, yep, I'm okay. I'm good. Yeah, I'm continuing now. So just like in our previous example, we also added records, we deleted records, we updated records. So I'm going to show you also on how to do that with Entity Framework. So far, as I've said, we have retrieved data from the database, right? We haven't really updated, we haven't really deleted a record from our database, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to demonstrate how to add records in the database. Okay, so let's create another method. I'm going to name it add records, add products. Okay, so basically within this add product table, within the add product methods, what we're going to do is we're going to create new product. Okay. Okay. So the same thing, I'm going to use the using statement. So we're going to add another record in this table. So to do that, what we are in entity framework. So now you have this context, and you have to declare product. So product one, I'll call it product one is equal to new product. Okay. So I'm going to do that in our model. Okay, so this is our product. And then I instantiate, the first thing that you will do, instantiate a product from the for product class. If you go to the definition, we are instantiating a product, a new instance of the product. So in the product table. So not yet in the product table. In our code, we are creating an instance of product. And then once we created an instance of a product, we will assign the properties for this product. So product point, product name. Let's just make it pretty similar to the names of this one. Maybe let's make it Apple, but this time from EF. So entity framework is it means entity framework, and then we will assign the. It has three columns, right? We skip product. I'll explain why, and then we'll add price. Okay. So product 1 point price. So we'll assign this price. Let's say maybe $16.50. Okay. Perfect. Good. So now we have created our product. What we're going to do is to add this product in our context. So now we have instantiated the products. And then what we're going to do in our context, there is a, under products, you could add product 1. Okay, as simple as that. So if we step back a little bit with Dapper, we are doing insert statement, right? We are doing insert. We are where is it? Insert into product name and price. So we have to specify that SQL statement. Now here, all we have to do is instantiate a product, instance of the product, and then product 1, and then product, assign the properties for this product. Of course, the value that you want to assign to this product, of course, you could get that from the user, right? You could do something similar to this where we took them from the user. Or if you are creating a web application, basically this will be a text boxes within the web page, right? So since this is just a demo, I'm just hard coding the values. So that's different. Within a real application, of course, this is not what will happen. So now I added the product into our context, right? So at this point, it will not save to the database yet. Even though you have added it, at this point, your data, it's still in the memory. It's not yet persisted in this product table. So let's demonstrate that. So nothing will save at this point yet because entity framework operates in your memory unless you committed that change, it won't add it to the database. So at this point of the code, there is nothing will save to the database. Okay, let's run it just to show you that. Oh, sorry. We forgot. All right. I forgot. Let's do that. EF point add products. So of course I want to call my add products method instead of retrieve products, right? Cool. See that? It didn't add, sorry, it ran, but let's see if it actually added it from our record. So we have 10 records now. Let's refresh our query again. We still have 10 records, which means our program did not do anything. It did not add this record to our data, this new product to the database. It's because I've said a while ago, at this point, your entity framework is still operating in your memory. To persist this record in your database, you will have to call context point save changes. So once this method is saved, anything that is in the once this method is called, anything that is in the memory will be persisted to your database. Okay, so we are complete now, and I'm just going to console point right line successfully added record. Okay, just so we have a indicator that it's finished. Okay, so take note, I now have saved changes. And it's running. See that? It's successful. It added the records. And now let's query our database. So we have 10 records. We are now expecting there should be 11 records here. Perfect. So we now have 11 records with an ID of 14. And this is the data that we added. See this here, we didn't, in our entity framework, we didn't assign the product ID, right? We didn't assign the product ID, which is fine, and it still works. Reason for that is because we define in our database, if you are in part 1, this product ID, we made it as an identity key, meaning it's automatically generated by the database for us. So when we insert, we don't have to specify. The database will determine that for us. Okay, so that's why, if you are wondering why we don't have to specify product ID, since we are adding a new one, okay? So let me show you another trick. So what if I want to add 2 products? So let's say I have here another product. Product 2, and this is a new product. And I'll name this product 2. Product 2 dot name equal to, let's say, banana dash EF, and then product 2 point price. Let's just make it 2.75 cents. All right, so basically you could do the same here, right? You should be able to add product 1 and then do the same product 2 over here. That will work fine as well. Or you could do something like I'm just comment this out. You could do something like this: contact.products point add range. A new list product, and then I'm going to add this product 1 over here and product 2 over here. Okay, so I'm just make that orange so it's different, and just make it 3.89 m. Okay, so this is another way of doing things. Basically, you could do this, that's fine, or you could also do something like this. So it's your preference. I'm just demonstrating it to you. So if we run this, we are expecting to add 2 more products to the database. Perfect. All right, so if we go back, we should see 13 records in this. There you go. These were the 2 new records that we just added. That's how you add records using Entity Framework. Good. All right, so now let's try it an example of updating a record. I'm going to public void update record. Okay, so the same convention. I'm going to just copy paste this. And now I want to update a product, right? I want to update maybe, let's update this guy, number 9, ADO.net, okay? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to first have to retrieve the product that I want to update. So using context, I just do products, point where p point product ID equal to 9. So basically, we are pulling this from the database, and then we want to update that. We want to update this. Maybe let's update the price, or maybe let's just update the EF1. I'm going to change it to 14. Let's update the price of this one. Okay, it's too expensive, so we want to make it a little bit cheaper. So now, first, the first thing that you're gonna do is to retrieve that record. Or if you already have it in memory, you just have to update that product, and then we want to update the price to from 16.50 to maybe let's just make it 0.42. Let's change the price, and then let's also do product product name. Let's change the name a little bit, so EF, and then let's say updated. That's for demonstration purposes. So let's do update. Okay. So now you retrieve the product, you update the properties of this product, but then in the context you will do something like context dot update, and then you will specify this. You will as the parameter. You supply this record, meaning we will. This is the record. You updated it. You're telling Entity Framework that whatever the properties or the values in this product object, update the record in the database with whatever the value of this object. So meaning the price will become 5.42 from 16.50, and then we updated the name in our code. So that's what this means. So of course, as I've said, this is still in memory. You will also have to call save changes. Great. Okay, so let's run our program, or maybe before we run, we have to call this first. I'm going to comment out this EF point update record. Okay, let's run it. I forgot to add a caption to it, but that's okay. Good. So our program ran successfully. It's successfully updated. So let's now see what is the value of this data of product 14. Oh, see that? It changed the price, and it also changed the product name. That's how you do the update with Entity Framework. Okay, let's demonstrate how we do delete. So, okay, so let's see what we want to do. Okay, so let's see, private void. Again, I just want to emphasize, we did not write any SQL at all, right? So we just manipulate the concrete objects within our program, and Entity Framework took care of that for us. Okay, so now I'm going to remove a record from our database, and same as usual, I'm going to copy paste this context. The same thing, I'm going to remove a record. So let's see which record we're going to remove. Let's just remove this orange, number 15. Let's remove that. Okay, let's remove that, 15. This is the product to remove. I have it. So what we want to do, once you have this product, all you have to do is tell the context that remove. Remove this product. This is the product that you want to remove. And then here, as I've said, it's still in memory at this point. All you have to do is persist that to the database by calling save changes. And then I'm just going to put what they call it, a message on the screen. Okay, let's call this again. Our program. Here, point, remove record. So basically, what's happening? I should make that public. Remove record. So basically, we're going to remove the product ID of 15 over here. So this should be gone. Okay, once we execute our code. So, okay. So let's run our code. Executing remove record. So this is basically deleting a record in the database. Perfect. So our program ran. And when we refresh our database, we should not see this product anymore. Product 15 will no longer exist. Perfect. So you don't have any product 15 anymore. And if you want to query it, there is no more product. Cool. So those are the basic crude operation that you could do in Entity Framework. So as we did a while ago, we pulled records, we added records, we update records and remove records. Same with what we did with Dapper, same as what we did with OLEDB, ODBC, and ADO.NET. So those are the different ways of how you interact, do database interaction in your database. Now, you may be asking why. Which one is better? Which one is better? Which one is better to use? So the answer to that is like it depends on the application that you will be doing. So as you can see, Entity Framework is very user-friendly or very developer-friendly, right? So if you program in Entity Framework, you don't have to deal with SQL at all. You don't have to deal with those SQL and all those kind of stuff. If you want to, you can, but by default or by convention, you don't have to. So if you are an advanced Entity Framework user, you should be able to override that. But what's the point of using Entity Framework if you're going to override that, right? On certain scenario, there may be if your SQL is performing well, you might want to override that, sure. Or you could use a stored procedure, sure, that's fine too. So in most cases, you don't want to override that. Yeah, you just want to perform link queue, and you don't want it provides you Entity Framework. It provides you these cool, handy features where you don't have to deal with SQL, but that comes at a cost. It depends on the sensitivity of your application, performance sensitivity. They say nowadays Entity Framework Core is faster than its predecessor. That's what they say, but technically it won't get any faster if you're using ADO.NET. Meaning ADO.NET is still faster than Entity Framework, but the performance of Entity Framework may be acceptable depending on your application. So if your application is just a basic user browsing something like a basic ordering system where a few millisecond difference is not really is not really a big deal for the user, then entity framework might be the best framework to use when interacting with your database, because yeah, it's you don't have to deal, as I've said, the main benefit, you don't have to deal with SQL. Another thing is like with entity framework, if you have a huge database schema, you will have to mimic those into your context as well. So that's another disadvantage. So yeah, performance is basically the key indicator whether to use or not to use entity framework, or whether to use ADO.NET or Dapper. Okay, so basically, still Dapper in terms of performance is still the front runner. So now, when will I use ADO.NET and not use entity framework? As I've said, if your application requires a huge performance requirement, then you may want to use ADO.NET. And what are those kinds of applications that requires the huge performance requirement? So basically, one example, real world example that I've encountered in the past are batch applications. Those batch applications, they run at night and they process thousands to millions of records at night. So if you have a millisecond difference when you query a database, that's a big deal for batch application, because if you are processing thousands and even millions of records, those milliseconds adds up. So it might delay your application. It might cause delay if you're processing millions of records. So, and if your application is time sensitive, it might not finish on time, right? So 1 or 2 hour difference might be a big deal for batch applications. So in that case, I would recommend using ADO.NET for those kind of applications. And for application that doesn't have any huge performance requirement, like ordinary user interface, you could use entity framework for those. All right. So now, sir, where do I use Dapper? Where do I use Dapper? So Dapper is kind of sit in between, at least on the online benchmark that I read. They said Dapper is a little bit better than entity framework in terms of performance. So if you are looking for something like an in-between ADO.NET and data access, and with the freedom to write your own SQL, you want to write your own SQL for you, Dapper is the handy tool. One good thing about Dapper is like maybe you don't have to what do you call it? You don't have to write all the context like this. You don't have to write any context at all, or the relationship at all. You don't have to define that in Dapper. So while in entity framework, the downside is you don't have to define it. And if you want to define the relationship within your database, if your database schema is huge, that could require more programming to you. So maybe in that case, you might want to consider Dapper. So in our example, our context only have one table, but in the following example that I'm going to show you, we'll going to demonstrate how to add another table into it. Okay, so I will demonstrate that to you. Okay, cool. So let's build our entity framework. Let's build it. Let's build one more table into our project. So right now we have two. We have customer. Under customer, we have Sir Erwin. We added it. We added him. Sorry about that. So let's add another table. Let's call it, maybe I'm going to call this table customer, maybe customer order. So let's do something like an order ID over here. Order ID with the data type of integer. And this order ID, let's set it as the primary key. And then we have this quantity. Quantity meaning the number of orders, the number of orders, it's not nullable. And then we'll have the customer ID. Customer ID. Let's mark that as an integer as well. And then we have this product ID. Product ID. We'll mark it as an integer as well. And then maybe let's do order date over here. Order date time. And let's make that date time. Okay, it's not nullable. And then this order ID, let's make it automatically generated an identity key. All right, so I flip it. Yes. Why is it not flipping? So maybe I need to identity increment. Oh, I'm not selecting anything. That's why. Okay, so I made it identity. So now I define this new table with this column. So I'm going to name it customer order. Customer order. Okay, so if we refresh our tables over here, we now have 3 tables, customer and customer order. So we just have to probably, in our design, this customer ID, it specify the ID of our customer over here. And this product ID, it specify, it's pointing to our product table. So let's define the, what they call it. Let's define the foreign key relationship between our customer order, and product. Okay. So over here, I'm going to add a new, if you expand customer order and right click on it, add a new foreign key. So, okay, over here, under this table, select that and click these 3 icons over here. Customer order, what I want to do in my customer order, I want to link this customer ID to customer. Okay, oh, it changed that. I'm going to click it again. And in our customer table, we'll select the customer ID. And in our customer table, we'll select the customer ID as well. What this means is like the ID in our the customer ID in our customer table, it now directly related to the to this customer, to this record in the customer. Let's show that in a diagram later. I'm just going to click OK, click close. Okay, and save this. Say yes. Perfect. So now, if you expand this, you just define a foreign key to your customer order. So see, this customer ID is a foreign key to customer. So I want to make this product ID as a foreign key to product as well. So I will do the same thing. I'm going to add another foreign key and then select tables and these 3 buttons. I'm going to select product at this time and then select product ID, of course. And then over here, I'm going to select product ID as well. Click OK. So you notice that I have the same name, which comes in handy, less confusion. So I'm going to save that. Say yes. And if I refresh this table again, I'm going to refresh this table. And if I go to the keys, you now have product ID is a foreign key to this table again, right? To the product table. Okay, let's see how they relate into the diagram. So SQL has this handy thing where you could see diagrams. If we create a new database diagram, All right, we don't have it. New database type. Okay, so I have to close this. Sometimes it does that. Okay. I'm going to open it again. Yeah, I think it's a bug within SQL Server Management Studio. So let's just wait for it to open. I'm going to enter my password. Database, webinar. Then let's create our diagram now. Perfect. So let's see. You can see these three tables now. I'm going to select them and then click Add. Good. Close. So now you now have a handy diagram right over here. You now have the diagram over here you could drag. So this diagram shows you your database, shows you how your tables in your database are related. So as you can see, the customer order is related to product table by a product key, of course. So by that. And this one is related to the customer by a customer. So this is a handy way of inspecting your database on how the tables are related to each other. So meaning, if we translate this into a real world application, so the customer can order, can have many orders. So let's say, for example, I can order 2 mangoes, I can order 2 mangoes, 2 apples, 3 bananas in my application. So customer can have many orders, but one customer order can only belong to one customer, and one customer order can only have one product. But in the record, we could have multiple products. All right, so that's basically. I'm going to just save this diagram for future references. So that's basically what it means. All right. All right. So now let's define that. Let's create orders for our customer. Okay. So first, the one thing that we will have to do is to what do you call it? Is to define first our model, right? As you can see here, our product, our database only knows one table, right? And our context only knows one table. It only knows this product. So we have to define that in our context as well. We have to let our context know that we also have a customer. So I'm just going to change our schema a little bit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change this, okay? This one. I'm going to change customer a little bit, and let's start with context first. So we're going to do products. We're going to add these two tables that we have here as well, customer and customer order. So I'm going to copy paste this. I'm going to add customer, and I'm going to call that customers. Now we will do the same thing for customer. So like we did with product, we will decorate it with an attribute of this one, which is really the name of our table. And I'm going to do that. Good. So now our customer, we have that defined. Let's see if it matches. Customer ID, first name, last name, email address, phone number. Select asterisk on customer. Just want to make sure that first name, last name, email address, phone number. Perfect. It's all there. Good. So now we will add our customer order. over here in our model. Let's add it, new class. Let's call it customer order. Perfect. I'm going to just do the same thing as this one. I'm going to copy paste this guy. I'm also going to do that. And I'm going to get using. I'm going to add a public modifier over here. Okay. So now we now have our customer order. The second thing that we want to do is to reflect the products or the columns of our customer order table. So in our database, we have 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean 5. So now let's do order ID. Order ID. Want to make sure they are the same. Actually, I'm just going to just copy paste them so that I won't make any mistake. Order ID. And then quantity. It's also an integer, quantity. And then let's skip customer and product. Let's do order date time, which is also a date time. All right. So now I will do something different here. So as you can see in our product, we did the product ID, the price, and the customer. We did it straightforward. Whatever the column in the database, we just added them to them. We just added those columns as a property into this class, right? I will do it a little differently with our customer order. So now we know that our customer can have many orders, right? So instead of adding customer ID over here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add the customer class over here. Customer. Right? So our customer, instead of doing the customer ID, I know this is in our database. If you go back here, our customer is related to customer order, right, via order ID, right? We define that in our database. So in our entity framework model, I'm just going to refer to it as a customer, meaning this customer order is pointing to this to whatever instance of this customer via ID. Okay, let's demonstrate that later. So I'm going to define that as like that. Same as product. Instead of doing a product ID, I'm going to define it as product. Okay, I'm going to define that as product. So now this is our model for our customer orders. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to copy paste this guy. I'm going to decorate. I already did. I already did decorated it. Okay. So now we have to also specify here that a customer can have many products, right? So meaning we can go back to our customer, and we could also define here a collection of customer orders. So I'm going to do a list of customer order, and I'm going to just call them orders. Okay. So meaning, if we translate it to our database, meaning our customer can have many orders. So, and they are represented by this property, customer orders. All right. Cool. So far, so good. I hope it's you're still following. So now over here, I'm going to also define this customer order. I'm just going to copy paste it. Perfect. So we now have this. We now have our stuff defined. But one thing we still need to define is the relationship. So we define the customer over here. We have many orders, and we define a customer order that has one customer and one product. But in our database, it's already defined, right? We have already defined that using foreign keys, as I have shown you a while ago. We now have foreign keys. We define it in our database as foreign keys. We have to replicate that into our entity framework. The entity framework must know that definition as well. So far, it doesn't know that definition. We have to tell entity framework that, hey, this customer can have multiple or many customer orders, or this customer order can have one product or can have one customer. So we have to define that. And to be able to do that, we want to override another method in the DB context. If you remember a while ago, we overrided this one. So we go to our DB context and we will find the method that we will override also. So the method is called onModelCreating. So this is the one that we need to override. I'm just going to copy paste it. I'm just going to paste it over here. Okay. Oh, holy moly. I'm just going to I copied all the comments as well. Sorry about that. I'm erasing those. And then I'm going to make it in the full-fledged method. Same thing as we while a while. I'm going to remove it. We did a while ago, and we're going to replace it with override. Great. Now we will tell our model we will define the relationship between our two tables. This is the one of the disadvantages of entity framework compared to Dapper is that you will have to tell entity framework the relationship. In most cases, you will have to tell entity framework the relationship of each table, whereas in Dapper you don't have to do that. It has advantages and disadvantages depending on your case. So now, to be able to tell entity framework that, you will have to make use of this model builder that entity, and then the entity name is customer order. Customer order. I'm just going to do that, and that I'm going to do has many, has one. I'm just going to do this. Then I'm going to do the lambda expression. I'm just going to name it CO for customer order. CO point, CO point customer. So meaning, if you go back to our diagram, I told you an customer order can only have one customer, while a customer can have many orders, right? So first we are defining here, a customer order can only have one customer, so which is reflected in our database already by a customer ID, can only have one, while our customer can have many orders. So I'm going to do that with the keyword with many, and then I'm just going to say C for customer, C point orders. Orders is the one that we define in our, if we pick the definition of customer order, it should be customer order. We pick the definition, customer orders oh, sorry. We pick the definition of customer. It has this collection, right? Many orders. So we're specifying here in our context that it has many orders, many customer orders. All right. So we just basically mimic whatever is the definition in our database. Okay. So of course you can add product, but you could. I want to leave that to you to explore. So for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm just going to make it simple like this. So we're going to now add. Okay. We're going to now add some records uh, to our product, to our what they call it, to our customer. All right, let's do this. So now I have defined the relationship. I'm now going to go to my EF data access. So I'm going to create another public void method, add customer orders. Good. And I'll use the same naming convention. Or the same coding convention. So now we want to do a customer order, right? So our order, let's say var CO, meaning customer, I'll just name it order, equal to new customer order. So what we're basically doing here is like we are doing the same thing as this one. Same thing as our add method over here. So but at this time we are adding it as a record for that customer. All right. So customer, we want to order, let's say for example, order product. Let's say the customer. Let's assign a customer first. Customer. So now we want to assign it to our first customer. So basically, you will have to query it, point customers, point first. Okay, I'm just going to get the first customers, right? So, but in real world application, so you will have to query it probably, like you will have to do where, or you will have to specify a condition. But for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to get the first customer on our record and assign it to our order, meaning I'm ordering something for this customer. Or if you want to be explicit, you want to add it like var customer, like this. And then just assign it like that, customer. That either way is fine. Whatever coding that you want, you could do it. Same thing as product. With product, you could also do var product, but the context point products, point where. I'm going to just order a product. Let's see our products. Select asterisk on product. I'm just going to buy this banana, product ID 16. Okay, we point product ID equal to 16. Point first. First, I know there's a record, so I'm just doing point first. So and then you could also assign it here. Order point product is equal to product. All right, there you go. And now, another thing, you will have to specify the quantity, right? How many bananas, or is it banana? Yeah, how many bananas will you ordering? I will have, say, 7 bananas, or let's say 5 bananas. And then you have this now, order quantity, and then you will have to do order date, the order date time. I'm just going to assign it to date time point now. It's going to get the current date. And then in our context, we'll do the same. Point customer order, point add. We just add this order. All right. And then, as I've said, it's still in the memory. We just save changes. And then console point right line. Successfully added orders. Added orders. Or if you want to do another order, so let's just name it order one. Let's add 2 orders. I'm just going to add this order one. Do 2 orders actually. Order one, let's call it product one. Product one. So now I'm ordering banana. Let's rename it to banana. All right, so I know it's a banana. And then I will order another one called apple. Let's name it as apple. Let's do, where is it? 14. It's 14. And then I will do pretty much the same thing over here, except that I'm going to change it to order 2. Make sure I don't make any mistake. Let's just do order 2 to quantity or 3. Order 2, customer order. I just added a customer order. All right, perfect. So basically, after we hit save changes, we will now see 2 orders for these customers, for this particular customer. So if we go select customer order, we don't have anything yet. Once we run this program, we should see 2 orders for this customer. Okay. So where is my program? Okay, let's do this. If I didn't commit any programming error, this should work. That's fine. All right. And if I did, let's just fix it. Okay, I'm running it now. Requires a primary key. Perfect, as I have been. Okay, so meaning we have to go to the, what that means is like, I need to define this as a primary key. I just say key. I'm just going to define that. Why is it not recognizing the key word? Oh, okay, I did not. I need that namespace. All right. Okay. I'm going to run it again for the second time. Okay, perfect. Successful. So basically what I did there is that I added in the customer order, I specified that this property is a primary key in customer order. So entity framework will have to know that. So I just told entity framework that. So I just define it. So our application is successful. If we go to our database now under customer orders, we should see 2 records over here. Perfect. So now we have for customer Erwin, for this customer ID, and this product. Oh, why is it the same? Oh, I think I made, I did not change this. I still set it to banana. That's why I should have set it to apple, which is fine. We still added it. So let's do it again. That's why they are the same product ID, because it was still set to banana. I should have set it to apple. That's why. So yeah, but the concept is we added the record, right? We added this record. So I'm just going to delete this and then start over and run our program just to show you that it inserted two different products for that customer. Okay, I just deleted them and let's see. Perfect. All right. Okay. So now let's go back to customer order. Awesome. So we see different product ID, and then basically what it means is like you ordered two products for this customer. So for this customer, you ordered these two products, which are, let's see it, for product ID in 16 and 14. Okay, let's run that. So for Sir Erwin, we ordered two products, apple and banana. So and they are tied by these IDs. Cool. So that's how you manipulate data in Entity Framework. I want to make it fast a little bit because I want to show you one more thing. I forgot that I want to create now a new project using ASP.NET. I want to show you how ASP.NET and Entity Framework works. Okay, so let's before I do that, I want to do a recap. So basically, you have learned how to pull data, how to update data, how to remove data, how to establish relationship using Entity Framework and match it within your database. So you're able to add foreign key, you're able to establish relationship, and you're able to have a glimpse or a pretty much real world, close to real world application by defining multiple tables into your database. So you're able to create an application that orders something for a customer. All right. So now let's create a new ASP.NET Core application. So my screen, I'm not used to this very small screen. Okay, let's call it, I'm just going to save it on my webinar folder. See webinar, select folder. Let's call it webinar web app. Okay, so create. Just going to create this. I'm just going to create a web application, and I'm not going to configure it with HTTPS. I'm just going to. I'm just going to select this one, web application with a controller. What this means is like I'm creating an application. I'm creating a project with a pre-built MVC application. Okay, so for the benefit of time, I'm doing it so that I don't have to do them manually. I'm just going to. I don't want to configure HTTPS. I'm just going to create that. So I selected a ASP.NET Core application and with a pre-built templates for us. Cool. So what it means is like this ASP.NET Core application that I built, it has pre-built in views for me. So it's pretty much an application that is ready to run. All right, so if you run it, let's just try to run it. This ASP.NET Core application. Oh, it's running over here. It's ready, right? Still loading. Cool. So I have a basic ASP.NET application with pre-built views for me. So if you go home, this is what you see. If you go to privacy, this is what you see. You go back home, that's what you will see. So when you are working this tree, you don't actually do this. Yeah, most likely you will create something from scratch. The reason why I'm just doing it is for because ASP.NET Core is not really our main topic. I just want to show you how to have entity framework in your ASP.NET Core. That's why I did it, for demonstration purposes only. So now I want to modify this privacy so that I will have to display my entity frame models over here. So before I do that, to do that, I want to define the same thing here. I want to define my context and models as well, right? So let me do that. I want to define my I want to create another. I'm just thinking on how I want to do this. The best way to demonstrate this to you guys. So what I want to do, I want to create a probably subfolder into my project. I want to create a subfolder called products. Okay, so I want to create products over here. And under products, I want to create my class over here. I want to create a class called products. I want to do a product class over here. So I created, oh, sorry, I think I should put this, yeah. Which one is better? I think that's okay for now. I will just leave this product over here under models. I'll move it. I'm going to delete this product table that I did. Okay. So I created the product class. I want to copy it actually from our previous example, which is the product. I want to create the properties so that I don't have to type them. Okay. I want to do that. I want to copy paste it, product and product name. The next thing I will do, I want to define the context. So the way I want to organize it is like I want to create a folder here. I want to name it context, same as I did with our previous example. I want to name it context. And within my context, I want to put all my context over here. So I wanna do is to right click on this one. I wanna add and then scaffold new item. So scaffold new item. What this will do, it will automatically generate the views, the ASP.NET Core views for us. So in real world, you don't do that, but for demonstration purposes, so that it will be quick, I am doing it. And then once I'll do that again, create that, and create this folder, right click, add, new scaffold item, and then over here, select Razor Pages using Entity Framework. So this is a pre-built in, this is a handy thing. What this will do, it will generate an entity framework context for us. Basically, it mimics what we did in our previous example, wherein we manually did it for us, but this template will just do it automatically for us. Again, as in real world, you may not be doing this, you may be doing it by hand or by some other means. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to do this and then we'll just examine the code that it will generate. So, okay, I click add. Okay, and then it will show you here, it will ask you the class context. I don't have a context yet. I'm just going to add one. I'm just going to call it product context, and just if you go over here, it's called product context, right? See that? Then click add. It will be selected there, and here I will select the product class that I define, and then I will click add. I'm not going to use this layout. I'm just going to click add. It should generate the views over here. So while it's doing that, installing the Nugget package, see this? It's basically what we did a while ago, right? At the beginning of our demonstration, we added NuGet packages, right? It's doing the same thing. It's just adding the NuGet packages and adding the context and adding the views, ASP.NET Core views for us. So that's why it's taking, right? See that? Generating the code. So it's basically generating the code that we demonstrated in our example. It's kind of a little bit different because our example a while ago was a console application, but this one it's more of an ASP.NET Core application, but the concept is about, I would say, 95% the same. All right. Now, okay, perfect. It has generated, if you expand this, it has generated these views for us. So what I'm going to do, if you run this again, I'm going to replace this, as I've said, I'm going to replace this with products, okay? Good. So now I'm going to go here in my views and page layout. Because I won't go into the details of this because I know ASP.NET Core already. But basically what I'm doing is I'm going to modify that link over there, the privacy link. I'm going to change this to products. For that, instead of loading the privacy page, which is this page, I want to redirect it to load this index that we scaffold, that this code that was auto-generated for us. Okay, so to be able to do that, I want to change it to products, and then this one I want to change it to context slash. Okay, let me make sure I spell that properly. Okay, just a second. I'm just going to rename this. Then, okay, name it like that. Okay, so now I want, if I did this correctly, let me do that. Let me change that. Context, I want to make sure I have this. Context, so let's try it. Let's see what we missed. And we'll correct that if it's not wrong. If it's wrong. I think it will still error out because we haven't specified the database connection yet. So if we click here, see that it will it cannot find this controller actually, not the database. So what we could do is in my home controller, Okay, let me change my controller a little bit. Let me find that controller first. So data, models, pages, so validation, privacy. So our controller, so let's go to our home controller. Let's go to our home controller. Controllers. Let me just do that. Okay. So let me go to home controllers. Okay. So what this home controller what this home controller do is like it returns the view, the privacy view, right? So what I want to do, I want to create here a thing called products. And instead of returning this view, I want to return this index context. Context slash index dot html. Okay. I want to give me a second. I want to run this. Before I do that, I have to. What I want to do, I want to figure out first whether this one will connect to the database or not, right? So we have to test that first, whether it will connect to the database or not. And to be able to do that, we have to go to the application settings, development. Oh, no, I wanna do the product context. I wanna just search for product context. I'm just going to segue a little bit. So see this one, it tells me it's connecting to a different database. So I want to load my, give me a second. I want to specify the correct database here. I want to specify because I'm in here in my context, it's trying to connect to a local database, but this database does not exist yet. So I want to change that. I want to change that so that I want to load my previous application so that it gets the product context. I want to find the SQL connection string that I used there. Okay, and replace this. Good. Okay, perfect. Now I have this product context. I now have this okay, perfect. I now have it defined, and now I want to go to my ASP.NET application, ASP page. Where is it? This layout. Now, instead of doing that, I want to specify the page that I want to load instead of the controller, right? So I want to remove this controller. I want to remove that. Then I want to specify the ASP.NET action that I want to do. So here, you should see this. This is where the auto-generated context. We'll go into them in detail. And I want to do is context slash index index. Okay, let's see if this will work. So now what I did, I defined the connection string, and then I defined this context to point to our context over here. Okay. So basically, we will load the products into the page. Still loading. So still trying to load. It's maybe doing the same thing. Okay, it has loaded. So, when we click here, it says home controller product not found. Okay, I think I know what's going on. I have to go again. I have no choice but to replace my controller with that. Okay. Okay, I'm going to change this with products. Products, no, this should be index. Should be index. I wanna just do is let me figure this out. Why are you erroring out? Give me a second, guys. I'm just trying to figure out why my code is not respecting my controller. So I should have here the product, the page, the home controller over here, which is the index. So home controller, I should have the home controller over here, the context, the controllers, I should have that, the data, the pages, the settings, the start up. Okay. All right. So now, okay, I see. So because over here on view, let's just display this. Okay, I see what's going on. So because in this controller, I just want to do products. I just want to do here instead of there. So I want to do it here. Here, I want to do it. Okay, I want to do products over here. I do products and I want to. Okay, let me just copy paste that. Products. Okay, and then here I want to do products instead of that. All right. All right, so I'm running it now. I want to see. Sorry about that, guys. It takes me a while to figure that out. Okay, so I think we are making some progress. So now this is my products, right? I load it, I click it, and it says the string on original location. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let me do that. Let me copy this because they are on different my views, they are over here, so I want to put them over here. Okay. Yes. All right. So and then in my controller, I want to just do. Oh, I have the same index. Okay. So I think it's fine. I'll just return index. I wonder if I need to put CHTML over there, but let's see. Trying to do the object reference. Okay, let me correct. Okay, I think we're making progress, guys. Let Let me just run this. Let me just run this. Okay. Okay. All right. So, all right. So now I have added this this test, and if you click on it now, I'm load. If you go back to our code, I will show it to you later. So basically, we created 3 indexes, right? We created 3 indexes, and each of those three tables. Each of those tables, they generated crude operations, which is adding and deleting, right? So if you could see now, our database, our 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 code is now loading the tables. So basically, let me go back to my code. Let me just close it. Let me go back and explain what's going on to our code. So, but maybe let's go to the application first. Let's go to the application. So let's go to let me run my application, and then let's go back to it. I will explain how the application works, and then let's go back to the code. Okay, sorry about that. It took me a while to figure it out. It's been a few days since I revisited this code. So basically, what we've generated is like there is a list. What the entity framework that we did, it generated 4 views. One that create a list, retrieve the list from our database, and then once they are retrieved, it automatically gives you the ability to edit them. Let's say, for example, if I edit this one and I can go back to this, or if I want to delete it, I could delete it. That's what. Oh, sorry, there's an error, but let's check that later. So back to list. You could delete that, right? I know why it's erroring out on delete. It's because there is a reference to this product. So basically, you could detail it, you could edit it, and you could even go back to list and create a new one. So basically, that is what the code that we scaffold is doing. So I will now go back to the code and analyze what it's doing for us. Okay, I'm going to show it again. Oh, this is not the code. This is the webinar code. Okay. All right. So as you can see here, before these 3 codes are over here, right? But we have a path problem. I'll figure that out. We have a path problem, but basically when we scaffold our controller over here, our data, when we scaffold it, it generated 3 indexes. So these indexes, what they basically do is like they retrieve data from the database, the indexes, the one that you showed a while ago. What it does, it pulls the data from the database using entity framework. So if you go to this code, to the code of this one, go to controller, what it does, it retrieves the data for you. It retrieves the data from the database using this model. See this model, that product, it just retrieve those for you. So it loops to the table, and then it retrieves them for you. See this, for each product, it retrieves them, and then it displays them in the web page. So this is basically the same thing what we did on our console application, except that this one, it's displaying it on our ASP.NET web page. If you remember, I'm going to open our previous console application. I forgot Okay, let me just do it here. Test console, is this the one? Maybe, okay, maybe this is the one. Let's see, maybe this is the one. So, if you remember, over here, over here, right? We are retrieving our products like this, our product context like this. See, we are writing them in the console, but in the auto-generated code by when we scaffold our views, ASP.NET views, it's doing the same thing. So except that it's spitting out the data using HTML and then forming them. So ASP.NET Core is a different topic. It's a huge topic that needs to be discussed, but that's basically what this index is doing. And then when you go to edit, it does the same thing what we did on our console application. In the details and in the delete, it's doing the same thing. So I'm just trying to show you guys here that you could integrate entity framework within ASP.NET Core, but the concept on the way we did it within the console application is it's the same. So now the only difference probably is the way we instantiated the connection string. In our case, we instantiated our connection string in this context using onConfiguring, but within this ASP.NET application, what it does is product context. What it does is it added this into the configuration in the application settings.json. So you have over here the application settings.json. This application, it specified the connection string over here, and then when this application generates it in the configure services, it tries to get that application settings from the configuration. So what this basically means is it just read the value from these JSON files, and then when this application read that value, and then it assign it to use SQL Server. So if you remember this in our context, in our webinar, see this, we did use SQL Server as well, right? It's the same thing, except it read it from a configuration file, which is pretty much common practice in the industry to put connection string in the configuration file. So it does it. So this configure services, when ASP.NET Core initializes, it calls this method, and in the process of calling this method, it initializes our entity framework for us. So that's the only major difference that I can see. That is the difference from our console application. So yeah, so except now they are splitting it using these views. Okay, so as I've said, ASP.NET Core is not the main topic. I wish this is the main topic and we could explore more, but we are more focused on the database. So I just want to show you guys a real-world application using ASP.NET Core, and then compare it to our previous webinar, a previous sample console application. So we have no time to use Visual Studio Code, but I think the concept is different. It doesn't. I leave that to you to explore. But I want you to if you have time on your own, modify, create the same ASP.NET Core application. But instead of just displaying the products, if I showed you a while ago, I'm just displaying the products, right? I want you to create a customer ordering system using this schema. So move it up one notch a little bit. So on your free time, for learning purposes, I would recommend creating an ASP.NET Core application, but instead of just creating just a product context, create a customer ordering system. So kind of mimicking a real world application where you could create an ordering system using ASP.NET Core, using that web page that I have showed you a while ago. Okay, I think we still have few minutes, and I will now hand it over to Sir Erwin for our question and answer. Thanks. And sorry about that. It took me a little bit of time a while ago to figure out to set up my ASP.NET Core application. So it took me a little while to figure that out. It's been a while since I revisited this project. So next time I'm going to be more ready on that one. But instead, you get the concept, you get the idea, right? It's we're not focused on ASP.NET Core, but more focused on entity framework. Okay, Erwin, back to you now for question and answer.
Okay, so that was a very great and fruitful webinar coming from our speaker, Sir Andy Isip. Okay, so we hope that you learned so much from this webinar. And just a recap, we had from the previous installed the entity framework first, and we see and tried what is and how to function the entity framework, and the last part was about the application of entity framework in ASP.NET. Okay, web page. So that was very interesting. So we are now going to proceed with our here. So let us check this one. Yes, we are now in our Q&A. So we will be accommodating questions from you guys. Just kindly place your questions in our chat box here so that we can answer while our speaker, Sir Andy, still here. So throw your questions now for clarifications. Okay. So I'm just going to open another window here. So kindly send your questions. Sir Andy, clear ako no? Naririnig naman yung audio ko no?
Yeah, you're clear, Sir Erwin. I can hear you.
Yes, thank you, sir. So we're just waiting for the questions coming from our audience, and I'm going to try to fix first my video. So while waiting for your questions, okay, let me just fix my camera. Okay, so there. So okay, so do we have questions now? Let me open my chat box here. So guys, do we have questions already in our chat box? So let me just check it here. There. Box here. So there's no questions yet coming in. So there's no questions, guys. Or nahiya lang magtanong. So send your clarification while our speaker is still here. Si Sir Andy, masasagot lahat po ang inyong mga katanungan. Okay. So, Sir Andy, there's no questions coming in. So, maybe we wait another minutes from our audience. So, yan.
Okay.
I think we have a clear delivery of our webinar. Our Microsoft.NET entity framework, sir. So I think they are good.
So okay, sounds good, Sir Erwin. Yeah, this is the last part of our topic, database interaction. I hope you learned from part 1, part 2, and for this last part. And hopefully in the future, you will be able to apply that in your work or whatever project that you will be working on right now or in the future.
Okay. So thank you so much, Sir Andy, for that. And we will now move to the awarding of our certificate. So let us now award our certificate of appreciation. So eager learning, creativity beyond borders. This certificate of appreciation is proudly presented to our speaker, Engineer Alejandro P. Isip, for sharing his invaluable time and expertise as a speaker in the recently conducted webinar entitled PART3, Database Interaction Within a .NET Application, having this entity framework, held on November 29, 2020 via YouTube Live. So signed by Engineer Erwin Higuera, yours truly, the founder of Eager Learning. So here, kindly accept Sir Andy, our certificate of appreciation. Thank you so much for your time and expertise for this webinar.
No problem, Sir Erwin. Thank you too.
Yun. So yan po si Sir Andy. Live na live po siya sa Canada right now, and of course his generosity giving us knowledge and lahat po ng dapat nating malaman about database and yung mga programs na somehow hindi na natuturo sa klase, sa school, at makukuha natin sa ating truly a practitioner from Canada. Lead software developer po siya. Yan, talaga po marami tayong matutunan. Now, if you want to have a consultation at ano po natin, pwede po, just have a consultation with us, and we may arrange some clarifications and tutorial if you want, no? Sa ating natin, no? Sa ating YouTube. Just I will place and activate later yung mga join button doon, at yun po yung mga perks na pwede natin makuha, no? Yan po yung mga shout out and yung mga tutorial, especially pwede po tayo mag handle ng mga tutorial, and of course with the some consultation from our previous speakers. Hingin natin ang expertise nila kasi sila po yung mga expert. Ako po ay facilitator lang, no? Konti pa lang ng kaalaman ko dyan. Okay? So here, for those who attended and for those who will be viewing our webinar today, ito po yung inyong certificate. Yan po yung bibigay nyo as long as you send your output later, no? And ano po yung bago nyong narinig for those viewers na will be viewing? Opo, a-accept na po tayo ng mga viewers, late viewers right now, kasi marami po akong na-observe na after our webinar, ang dami pong uma-access, at gusto din yata pong makakuha ng certificate. Yan. So, i-welcome po natin sila at also, not for just the attendees in the live webinar, we welcome also those uh, uh, viewers that would like to learn much and get their own certificate by having the late viewing ng replay ng ating webinar. Yan po. So, makakakuha po kayo ng ganito ng certificate. Okay? So, pwede nyo pong banggitin sa inyong mga kakilala na hindi naka-attend due to some errands, some obligations na hindi kapareho natin napalad na open ngayon, kaya tayo naka-attend ng webinar. So, we open to them the opportunity to get their certificate and learn from our webinar coming from our very good speaker na si Sir Andy. Yan po. So, yan po yung inyong makukuhang certificate. And how to. Yan po. Ito ang ating inaabangan sa dulo. No? Paano ba kukuha, sir, ng certificate? So, here is our output submission. All you have to do is submit your watch history. So, ito po yun, no? Ayan, watch history ng inyong YouTube to show that you've learned and really watched the Entity Framework webinar. Ayan. Ayan lang po ang hihingi natin. So, all you have to do is to go to your YouTube account and screenshot your watch history. For those who have attended today, right now, mayroon na po kayo niyan, watch history sa inyong YouTube. All you have to do is to send that in our Google form po natin. Ayan po yung ating Google form. Isesend ko yan sa ating chat box later. Ayan po. So, madali na lang po sa inyo. Kasi, for sure, kapag nanood ka naman, ay may natutunan ka, no? For sure, may matututunan ka talaga, no? Kung nakatutok at ano. So, the reason why, ito na lang hihingi natin na output. And for those late attendees and late viewers going to view our replay webinar, yan din po ang hihingi natin sa kanila. Of course, nahuli sila dahil nga sa mga possible obligations, errands, hindi na sila nakatutok sa ating live webinar. So, may opportunity sila but they still have to submit their watch history. Opo, para naman patunayan nila na nanood ako. At kung nanood ka, sure po kami na natuto kayo doon, no? Ayan po. At bago namin kayo mabigyan ng certificate. Ayan po. Again, so number 3 po natin is wait for 2 weeks for the certificate distribution through your email. Normally, hindi na po umaabot ng 2 weeks. Okay, 1 week, nagagawa ko na yung inyong mga certificates with my free time. Okay? Sir, tanong lang po, paano po ba yung watch history na yon? Yan po. May sample po tayo dito. All you have to do is to have first screenshot your account, yung ginamit nyo sa panonood ng YouTube webinar namin. In my case, ito po ako, si Erwin Higuera, and my email account na ginamit nyo sa papanonood. At later, ito naman po yung kasunod. Puntahan nyo lang yung inyong watch history ng inyong YouTube watch, and you will have this. Kung ano po yung mga pinanood nyo, nakalagay po dyan sa history natin. And as you can see, ito po yung full watch, naka-red line po lahat to show and showing na talagang pinanood mo lahat ng part ng webinar natin. But if in this case, like this one, kalahati lang ang mo or kapiraso lang napanood mo, makikita po yung sa watch history na isasubmit ninyo. And it will show that if you can get your certificate. I hope naman ay makapag-show kayo ng full red line. Yung red line po na ganyan para napakita naman na pinanood naman ng mga late viewers natin ang webinar, not just to get the certificate. Ayan. Okay, so I hope paki-screenshot po yan as your example on how to come up with your output. Ayan po. Ayan lang, madali lang po yan, no? Balikan nyo lang, then panoorin ulit and screenshot and attach doon sa ating webinar output. At ito po, i-send ko sa inyo yung link ng ating webinar output. Ayan, so we are now in our last part, saying thank you to all and to our speaker, Sir Andy. Thank you so much for your time and expertise. And once again, on the third time that you have given us your expertise and your resources, your time, teaching us dito sa ating Microsoft.net. Sir Andy, once again, we want to hear from you your final message.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Sir Erwin. Yeah, no problem. You're always welcome. I just want to say that I hope you learn. I just want to repeat it again. I hope you learn something, and it will help you in your future endeavor and your current work today if you are already working. And please support Sir Erwin in what he's doing. Maganda po yung mga ginagawa niyang mga webinar. Matututo po ang lahat and magbe-benefit po kayo. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Sir Andy Isip. Yan po, ngayon po ay evening na sa kanila, almost 12 midnight na sa kanila. So, we will allow Sir Andy now to leave if kailangan na po, no? Matutulog na siya. No? Sir Andy, so thank you so much once again.
And sige. No problem. Yeah. Salamat. Talk to you later.
Good night.
Bye.
And we will shout out if you want to stay. Yung ating i-shout out na natin once nandito pa si Sir Andy, yung family po niya. I-shout out natin si Daphne, si Andre, and si Ma'am May. Isip po. Ayan po. Ayan ang family po ni Sir Andy. Nasa Canada po sila lahat. So, God bless and good luck sa lahat ng mga endeavors and opportunities dyan po sa Canada sa inyo, Sir Andy. Again, once again, shout out po kay Andre, Daphne, and May Isip. Yan. And also sa ating...
Thank you, Sir Erwin. God bless.
Thank you din, Sir Andy. So, thank you so much.
Bye.
Yan po. Now, we proceed with this link that I'm going to send here. So, guys, ito po yung link. Yan. So, kindly access yon, yung link natin. And that will be your submission for the Google output natin dito sa webinar. Okay? Now, I thank you so much for to all who have attended our webinar. Yan, mag-shoutout po tayo. Kindly place once again your schools and your name para po maumpisahan natin ang pag-shoutout sa inyong masugid na pagsuporta dito sa ating webinar sa Eager Learning Creativity Beyond Borders po natin. Ayan. Ang mga attendees po natin ay once again from here NPCST from Novaliches po. Okay, nagkamali po ako last time, Caloocan, pero Nova pala po siya. No? Novaliches, Quezon City. NPCST, National Polytechnic College of Science and Technology. Cavite State University, Silang Campus. At University of Makati, of course, my school. National Polytechnic College, NPCST. PUP, PUP Lopez Branch. Cavite State University, yan po yung itong binabanggit ko, masusugid natin na mga taga-followers natin sa webinar natin ng mga university schools. Okay, PUP. What else? Ayan, Cavite State University, Silang Campus. May attendees pa po tayo na Denso 10 Solution Philippines. Mga taga-Denso, practitioner na po to, software engineer po siya, si Kevin Ilaga. And Cagayan Valley Computer and Information Technology. May taga-Cagayan Valley din po tayo. Thank you so much for attending Cagayan Valley School. Laguna State Polytechnic University, San Pablo City. Thank you sa mga taga-LSPU, San Pablo City. Ayan po. And Olfu, also, Olfu or Our Lady of Fatima University Antipolo branch. So thank you so much for attending, mga taga Our Lady of Fatima University, Rizal Technological Institute or Rizal Technological University. Thank you so much for attending. And STI also, no? May mga taga STI tayong umattend, no? Thank you so much, STI. And PUP San Pedro. Ayan, mga taga PUP San Pedro, thank you so much. NPSCST Cavite State University, Laguna State University. Ayan, once again. And taga Olfu. Ayan, Our Lady of Fatima University. Thank you so much. So yan po. I think you had a good learning opportunity today, and that's all for today. And I have to say good day to all, and thank you so much. And magsa-sign off na po tayo. And see you in our next webinar. Ayan po. So thank you so much, guys, for continuously attending and supporting, following our Eager Learning webinar. Yan. Then may mga tutorials din po ako sa aking YouTube. Marami na po akong mga lessons doon, mga packet tracer, about sa cloud computing, about sa TCP/IP operating systems. You can go and access my YouTube channel, at marami din po kayong matututunan doon tutorial as support sa inyong mga studies. Baka makatulong po yon. Just visit that and check my tutorial videos. Yan po. Yan po, nasa ilalim lang naman po yun. Yung http youtube.com Eager Learning. Ayan po, YouTube. May YouTube, po tayo dyan, mga lessons for you guys, especially sa mga students, to help them learn step by step by having the recorded video tutorial. Ayan po ang handog sa inyo ng Eager Learning. So right now, it's time to say goodbye, and Eager Learning is now signing off.